Hey guys, in this video we will test front brake with 220mm disc, and in the back standard 203mm disc, brake pads with fins. So we'll test also how the bike rides, what kind of range, the motor temperature, how the brake acts, because now we have the Regen engine brake wired via the switches which are on the brake. So when you press the brake, we set up the position of the switch, so the first initial bite is on the disc, and then if you press harder it also starts the engine brake. So it's fine tuning, you have to adjust a little bit, so because when you go into the corner it's better to first feel a little bit the mechanical braking, the hydraulic disc biting, and then later when you press even harder to start the engine brake. So at the moment we have switches for the engine brake wired on the high signal, so it also starts the rear tail light, but it can be also wired like this. In this case the thumb brake, it's wired on the low signal. Okay, so let's get ready. Okay, let's do a little brake. The brake, Regen brake, everything works great. So when you press the left, which is rear, first the brake caliper grabs the disc and then the engine brake starts. Also the bike is toy through this corner, so it's very maneuverable. You can throw it into a corner like nothing, you know. Okay. But you don't hear anything, you know, the engine, the motor is so quiet, you can hear the tires squeaking sometimes. You can see here on the display this icon. When I squeeze the brake, the icon pops on, and at that time the motor starts braking. So do a short stop here and I'll change the setup, check a little bit the battery temperature, motor temperature, and so on. So now the trip was around 22 kilometers, but you know, we ride it all the time on the full power, which is with this bike it's 14 kilowatts. Check the motor temperature and the battery temperature. Yeah, you can feel the heat of the motor. It should be around 120 degrees Celsius if I'm right. Okay, here you can see the temperature of the motor. At this moment is 100 degrees, so in just, let's say, 1-2 minutes it dropped from 120 to 100, so it's not a big time. I decided to change a little bit engine brake, go to the Pro setup, and you can see it here, 43, let's say. Let's raise everything for 3%. Okay, save. Okay, that's done. So now I go and test battery temperature. You have every battery from Qulbix has 2 sensors inside, so you can check the temperature. Now it's 32 degrees, 33, not much. the outside temperature at this moment is around 15-17 degrees Celsius. Media display connects with the navigation, so you can just follow the map on the display or switch back to the... Okay, now I will show you how you open and use the underseat storage compartment. You can see you can put a toolbox there, or some first aid kit, or I don't know, whatever you want, some raincoat. Or here in the battery compartment you can have a wallet, so a lot of space. It's easy to open, then you lock it and now it's ready to go. First, when you turn on the bike, it's always in the park, so the throttle is not active. So if you want to put it in the gear, let's say first, second or third gear, you have to press the P. Now it's in the gear that you selected on this switch. You can reprogram the gears so you have, let's say, less or more power on each of the setups. So in this case on 3 I have 14 kilowatts, which is around 200 amps. On this lower value I have around 450 amps, which is around 11 kilowatts. And on the lower value I have also a speed limit and a little bit less power. Middle light is rider. I did some 45 kilometers, 22 in each direction approximately. You can check now the motor temperature. Okay, now dropped to 110. The temperature of the controller, you cannot feel the heat at all. It's basically, it's cool. It's 20 degrees. The battery capacity, it's still around 35%, so I don't know, some range, but I didn't spare it, so this was quite a fast ride. So brake pad did well. You can feel a little bit more braking stopping power in the front. It's not hot at the moment, but no, a little bit more than standard 203mm disc. This one is 220mm, and with this brake pads you can feel a little bit more bite when you squeeze the lever, but with the engine brake it works perfectly. So we all know that at the moment the battery technology is not that far that we could ride the distances with the bikes like we can do with the petrol bikes, but we have a solution for that. So this is a QRBS, Qulbix removable battery system. You can have 2 or even 3 batteries, so when you go on a ride you empty one battery and come to pit stop, and then you change the batteries and put the first one, which is empty, on the charger. So this way you can ride as far as you want, you know, basically, or you can take the charger with you. As we said, you have quite a lot of space under the seat, so you could fit the smaller charger, traveling charger, inside, so you can charge when you stop on the road. So I will now show you how to replace the battery. Turn off the BMS, unplug the battery, positive and negative, remove the phone holders, and now you pull out the battery. This battery is quite large and heavy, so you have to be really careful. So if you touch it, you can feel the heat, not too much. As we measured before, it had some 40 degrees Celsius, a little bit more. And you can notice here we have battery holders which are padded, so they are like spring loaded, so they hold the battery when it's inside. Okay, grab the new one. Slide it. Make sure that the BMS is turned off. You can check that the red light on the BMS is not blinking. That means that the BMS is off. We can notice the red light is here. So now you can connect it. Otherwise you will have a sparking on the battery, and this is not okay for the connectors. Turn on again, put on the foam paddings, so they hold the battery in place and they also absorb the vibration, so a simple effective solution. And that's it. You can go on another ride. And this one goes on a charger.